Greetings and welcome, friends. Mr. Waddy and my friends in real life. We just met yesterday, but I think we're going to be best friends forever. We are going over the geometry homework, like section 1.1, page 8. And we were talking about points, lines, and planes. Wonderful, wonderful. So here's, I don't know, just like practicing naming conventions, which if I cannot communicate about something, I won't be able to describe all of its properties and discover things about it or use it in descriptions of new theorems and definitions. So yeah, it's helpful to be able to have naming conventions that all mathematicians will understand. So here it goes. It just says name 4 points. Ready? Let's do it the lazy way. A, B, C, and D. How about that? So points are represented by dots. A, B, C, and D are not coplanar with one another. I want to point out, it looks like there's 2 planes kind of in existence here. Right, there's kind of this floor-ish looking plane, and then there's this wall-ish looking plane, like so. Right? Yeah. And let's see, it says name 2 lines. So I'm going to call this line BC. Is that a proper name for a line? No, that's a segment. How about this? No, that's a ray. There's a line. There's a line. Goes on forever. Question, is this a line in the sketch? It's not drawn, but it does exist, because we did mention the fact that through any 2 distinct points, as long as they're not the same point, there exists exactly one line. All right, so question, comment. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, the endpoint is defined by the endpoint on the ray. Yeah. Although, I mean, I think most of the time when I've seen a ray written, it's always written with the arrow pointing to the right. But I imagine if you were like going against the grain, if you're a rebel mathematician doing your math on the streets, everyone would know what you're talking about. If your name was Ed and you wanted to be cool and get a tattoo like that, people would be like, wow, Ed, like you had a beginning and then you're going infinitely into the future. And like you'd be like, yeah, you're reading my name and it's backwards because I'm edgy and I have a tattoo, right? They'd be like super impressed. But yeah, so there we go. It says name a plane that contains points A, B, C. A, B, C. So I could call it plane A, B, C. Another name for that plane would have been plane BCS. No, oh, my bad. S is not a point. It just could be plane S. How about this? Plane S. I'm leaving it. I don't even care. Let's see. Name the plane that contains points A, D, and E. Now, this one doesn't have a plane name for it, so it could have been plane... Yeah, T is referring to the plane. My bad. I was thinking T referred to the line, but remember yesterday that we kind of referred to lines with lowercase kind of cursive-y letters. I don't know cursive. One time I had to forge my grandfather-in-law's signature when I was bringing a car to the like impound lot, like junkyard, and I couldn't remember how to make it like cursive G uppercase, and so I was just like, I don't know, like one of these. Like, yeah, that's it. And yeah, there you go. It was cool. I still got that car junked, so no worries. It's not like there were any drugs or bodies in it, though, friends. So come on, it's cool. Name the plane that contains the points A, D, E. So yeah, so that could have been plane aid or plane T. Now, question: if I had another point here, let's call it F. Would plane def be helpful? I just made up like the F right here. Well, the issue is that D, E, and F are collinear, And there's actually, not to mess us up, but there are infinitely many planes that pass through those 3 points, right? Like if you just imagine like rotating that blue plane around that line. So it's not specific enough. Like this doesn't describe a unique plane. So as far as a name, it's not the most helpful. Come on. Oh no, my undos ran out. Ah, well. I think I only store up to like 32 undos, like Control Z's in the memory. But whatever, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Here we go. Problem 11. What's another name for BD? Is BD a line, a segment, or a ray? It's a segment, right? And so another name for BD, this is the one they're referring to, with endpoints like that. So DB is the only other name. Sorry, what? Well, that would have a different endpoint. If it was a line, I'll say this: line DE is the same. I'll use this congruent symbol as line DB. But as far as segments go, they have different endpoints, and so they won't be the same. What's another name for AC? That would be just like CA, right? Right, so these are just kind of naming conventions, but it matters, right, how we communicate about things, so that's why we take the time for this. And then what's another name for ray AE? That one's trickier. Thoughts? Yeah? Ray AC, right. I want to point out that it has to start at A, and so AC, the ray, is the only way to do that. A wrong way to do that would have been ray EA. All right, this is wrong, because that would have been starting at E and passing infinitely through A. All right? So just, right, so that way we all know what we're talking about, right? Here we go, the sketches. These ones are a little bit tricky. Okay, so let's see. They want me to draw a ray AB. All right, so I'll call this A, and here's a point on that ray called B. And then a line AC. Now, C technically could be on the same, right? C could be collinear with A and B. But not necessarily. So, like, in terms of just kind of making it distinct and more unique, right? There's infinitely many ways we could have drawn this. But here would be a ray AB and a line AC, right? And then let's see, as far as plane C intersecting plane D at XY. So let's see if I can draw these. So for our planes, actually I'll draw this kind of flat one first. So we kind of draw them like parallelograms. All right, so here's plane C. And then I'm going to actually kind of draw the intersection first. And then from the endpoints, so to speak, even though these planes are infinite, I'm going to draw kind of these going up and then connect these. And so this is going to be like a rectangle and a parallelogram, although later we will learn that a rectangle is a type of parallelogram. So this could be plane D. And then to name our points, it intersects at line XY. So I could call this X. This could be Y, but also Y could just be like, I don't know, here, it doesn't matter, right? And so line XY is the infinitely long line, the intersection of those infinitely spacious planes in 2 dimensions. Comment, question? There's a lot of different ways. I mean, you could have even like drawn a box, right? Right. You technically could have even drawn like a triangular prism and only had right, kind of like 2 of these surfaces represented, right? So there's like a lot of different ways you could do it, right? So these 2 planes intersect at this, right? These two planes intersect there, or right, this slant of the tent and the floor of the tent intersect here, right? So there's a lot of different ways to represent it. Also notice this with this triangular prism tent shape, that the two walls of the tent and the floor of the tent are like three planes that form three parallel lines, which is interesting, right? You guys believe that? Yeah, makes sense, I think. All right, last batch of problems. Ooh, I like this one. Name a point that is collinear with points E and H. So E and H, so that's J. That's the only labeled solution there, unless you like made up your own. Name a point that is collinear with B and I. B and I, so that's going to be C. Right? Name a point that is not collinear with E and H. So if here's E and H, any of these options really work, right? Those are all non-collinear with EH, right? So I'll just say B because my name is Brian. 30. Let's look at 30 here. Name a point that is not collinear with B and I. So here's BI. So that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, or that one. All right, and I was just worried for a minute that said coplanar, because then these ones would not have worked. Right? Or these ones. Well, wait a minute. No, or these ones, because I could have had like a diagonal plane. That's weird. All right, don't worry about that. I don't want to scare us yet. It's okay. It's okay. So I'll just say H. And I'm kind of running out of color. Oh, I got green here. Name a point that is coplanar with DAB 2016 represent. So let's see. DAB, the plane would be the top of this box, this rectangular prism, would be the plane being described there. And so coplanar would be, yeah, C or I. All right? So thanks for watching, Internet friends. Tienen un día el más bien del mundo.